Hey everyone, we're going to be starting in 1 minute. Welcome. Hey there everyone, how are we all? Just going to be about 1 minute. I'm going to just see if I can lift this up. I have got some.
I can bend it down a little bit.
No, I can lift up. I'll go to the back. I'm going to introduce this guy to you in like 1 minute, but you can check him out in the meantime. So we've got Ian at the moment. It looks like we have people from.
Hey Ian, how are you?
Good guys.
Good.
Let's just hope that might stay up.
Great to see you again.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm excited for this morning.
Yeah. I'll just hang out. Hello.
There we go.
All right. So I'm gonna start now. I've just got to send Roy another invite because he can't find where the invite's gone. So just give me 2 seconds. I'm going to start in the meantime while I get that sent off. Let me just start right now. And I want to introduce, obviously, we have, let me just go to a gallery view. We have on the call, not only myself and the incredible Sally Ann Ferguson, we have 3 or 5 times.
3. I'm
Are
not
you sure?
5. You got the 5.
Are you sure?
I got the 3. You got me 2 times.
So this guy is like 3 times world kickboxing champion. When I say world kickboxing, I need to put some shoes on, don't I?
I got to come down a little bit.
When I say world kickboxing champion, this is in the era where no one ever backed out of a fight. No one ever said, oh my gosh, round 2 is a bit tough. I've watched this man complete a 5-round fight against one of his toughest opponents with a broken shin bone. Like his bone was hanging out of his shin, but he was so psyched in and so switched on, there was no stopping him. And this is in an era when my whole room was covered with this guy. He was like my king of fights. It was like, you know, if I wanted motivation, I would just watch what he was doing. I would go to all these fights. We become like brother and sister.
We did.
He has thrown snakes on me. He has done lots of crazy stuff.
Yeah, we have. We've had an interesting chapter.
We will tell you that later though. But I really want to introduce Ian the Powerhouse Jacobs.
Hey, everyone.
Not only, and I'm talking, you know, it's so much different to be able to get a high count of world titles, especially in boxing, because you can kind of mix WBC, IBF, IBO, WBO, WBA. Like there's 40 organizations. Back in your day, there was like, I don't know, about 3 or 4. 3 of them.
3.
So, and that was it. So, you know, you could only become a 3-time world champion. And what I seen Ian do is, you know, even to this day, do you remember the year where you had the fastest knockout?
Yeah, 2009.
So it's now, what are we in now? 2020. So 11 years later, no one's beaten it. Now I'm going to hand out a prize. If someone can type in and tell me how long his knockout took, right? And it's not allowed to be you, Sally Ann.
Can I just on Google?
No.
It was very quick.
No, but I would love to see you. So, Ian,
can you give us a bracket, like a, you know, between X amount of seconds?
0 seconds and 1 minute. Well, the old world record was 18 seconds or 17 seconds, held by Stan the Man Longinides, and he was.
So it's below that.
The fight. That's how we knew straight away that it was beaten. So it's less than 17 seconds. It's more than 1. Oh, that's your tip.
Amazing. Who's writing in the chat box?
Oh, no, 7 seconds. Sorry, his was 7 seconds. So it's more than 1 second.
You just made it easier now. Come on, guys.
Exactly. There you go.
So let's see who's got some 6 seconds. No. Stop giving hints. Cold. Oh, we're getting closer. But you're still cold. I'm really impressed with you, Louisa.
Yeah.
Go for it. Keep
Yeah.
going. It's got a point in there as well. It's going to be a
Down.
1.5, a little.
Up.
So you're in between 2 and 1.5. So you can all see the chat. You're in between 2 and 1.5. So
It's my favourite number too, by the way.
Oh.
There we go.
And we
My
could
2 favourite numbers.
We could kind of be in the
1.5 up.
Come on. We can do this. We can do this.
Can I have a guess?
No.
1.6.
1.8 is in.
No, is it good as an 8?
1.8.
Oh, 8.
Yeah,
1.8. That's it.
Louisa, Mike,
nice.
Andrea, amazing. Mike, you did 1.8. I'm going to need you to send me your address. I'm going to send you something super cool that is going to blow your mind as a gift just for having some fun. And this is what I always say, no matter what we're doing in life, however you play, wherever you show up is how you kind of play at life, play at business, play at sport, play at anything. So for those that jumped in, Brian, well done. For those that jumped in and started taking guesses, Louisa is like one of my friends, right? Louisa is from Adelaide, and she's in her 70s and she's in business.
Oh, fantastic.
Right? And so it was, and that was who took off with the guesses. So I love it. So, Ian, I would love you to share with our incredible audience.
Yeah.
I would really want you to share just the journey of where you are now. I'm going to ask you questions about where you were in the past, but I really want to bring to people's awareness things like the SAFE program.
Yeah.
And there's a thing called
Thunderball.
So I want to share that with you as well. But I really think in this time, day, age, like mental fitness and everything, like not just physical fitness, I'm going to ask you questions around the pandemic, around what's going on, all that kind of stuff. So I just give people an idea, like SAFE has been something you've been working with and you created. How long ago?
Well, I was 33 when I realised it was my life purpose, or a part of my life purpose. I want to be world champion so I could do something good for the world. And that started from the age of 4. And I'll go through that later. But basically, it's been a lifelong quest of mine. I came back from Saudi Arabia and I created a thing called Securing a Family's Environment. It was the first time when we put awareness, prevention, communication control, and prepared defense. So it was preventing trauma to the family, preventing situations, creating confidence, creating the ability to avoid almost every situation. There's some fundamental rules that you can do with that help you. And the tools that we give to parents, it's like road safe system. You teach children not to be terrified of the possible dangers. You teach them to be confident and have clarity in a world that's possibly dangerous, to respect the fear, not to be scared by it, dangers, I should say. And that's what the SAFE program does. Gives parents the tools, like teaching kids to look left, look right, look left. You can do the same thing with safe locations, situations, and people, and basically just totally empowers a human being's life. You know what I mean? Like my son is 30 now, and the number one thing I taught him when he was a baby was body language and understanding environments and locations. He's only ever been in one altercation his whole life. It was when he was 6 years old, protecting a girl. Other than that, when he reached 18 and went night clubbing and started doing that, management, security loved him because he became what's called a security asset. He would see everything and help him prevent stuff and stuff like that. And same with himself. He went to a location, saw it was unsafe. He'd take his girlfriend and leave, or tell his friends, and everyone knew to listen to him because he was a whiz in that area.
Yeah, that's sensational.
Big tools. SAFE is awesome.
So I'm going to ask a question because some people are more visual, more auditory. So I'm going to ask you a question. So if I'm a robber and I'm knocking on the door, and I love when you shared this with me a while ago, and you're a child and you're at home, mum and dad are somewhere else, and I'm knocking on the door, what would you tell the child to yell out?
Oh, dad's here. Dad's a commando. I don't want to see this again. You know what I mean? Like seriously, we know that most robbers, it's robbery of convenience. They want to do something that's easy to break in, easy to get away with little or no defense. But the major thing is to understand, if someone walks in the house and your kids catch them, most of the time, same with women and children, they go, what the F are you doing? Get out of the house, I'm calling the police. One of the worst things you can possibly say. So the other thing is you just say, listen, my dad's a commander. I don't want to see this again. And because most times they're drug psychosis, they're looking for another fix. Don't want to see what again? Shit. Yeah. Get out of here. Give them a way out. Say, go out the back door, take all the jewelry if you want it, but get out of here real quick because I don't want to see this again. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And there's little scenarios that you'll run through that these criminals, we know through statistics that 90% of criminals, 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 Most of the time that a robbery turns into an assault is when people confront them, and especially kids or women and mothers and that, try and confront somebody that's a robbery and says, you know, get out of here, I'm calling the police. And they've usually got a criminal record and go, I'm not going back to jail and you're not calling the police. And you turn a robbery into an assault. So it's really important to understand the difference profile between a robbery and an assault, an attacker, and how to handle it. And most of the time, we do it in 2 hours. We educate it in 2 hours, the fundamental basics of understanding most situations and almost avoiding and getting away and deterring most attackers and situations as well. Yeah.
Yeah, sensational.
That's the rockin'.
So
Rockin' Roy Jones. Oh my God, there he is. The legend, the demigod of boxing. My God. G'day, mate. Sorry, everybody. I just see him on the other screen.
he's gone. Ian's blushing. Ian is blushing. So, Roy, not only do women go crazy over you, but professional world champion fighters put you on a screen and even they blush and think, oh my goodness. Yeah, I was waiting for him to get tongue-tied then. Welcome, Roy.
Thank you. So good to see you. How y'all doing?
Good.
We're amazing. We're amazing.
Wow.
Thank you. See you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too, Roy. You too. I've had 3 boxing heroes, which I call demigods: Muhammad Ali, yourself, and Sugar Ray Leonard. Like, they've been my 3 in my time. I just have this unique signature where you stand alone, and for me, fighting is about being. Fighters are 3-dimensional predominantly. There's a couple that are 5. Then you have what I call 8-dimensional fighters like yourself, like Roy Jones, that just do that. They're just like, boxing will catch up to where you were today in 10, 15 years. You know what I mean? Like, they'll catch up, and that's what you see. And the determination, the focus, the beyond what a normal human being can do, you know, and respect to you, mate. Respect and honor.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Respect you too.
I was just saying, Roy, when I introduced Ian, I was just saying that, you know, you and Ian, you know, Ian is giving you this credit as well, and absolutely, you are one of the 8-dimensional fighters. Ian is the guy that when he was fighting, like, he would get in the ring and he wouldn't come out. He would have to be completely broken in half. I've watched him fight and complete and win one of the toughest 5-round Muay Thai fights, or kickboxing fights. Muay Thai? Was it Muay Thai kickboxing? Yeah, and he had a broken shin, so his shin bone was actually popping out of his skin, and he still didn't stop. He goes into a completely different space when he's fighting, like you do, and it's like there's a job to do, and you don't stop until it's done. And it was just, you know, he was in my kickboxing days, because I've done all the sports: karate, Muay Thai, kickboxing, Muay Thai, and boxing. I've kind of done every one of them. But he was like my demigod inside the kickboxing world, just like you are mine in the boxing world. And it was just amazing. So for me, how blessed am I to have 2 incredible men that have just really paved the way. They've created history. They've done so much inside their sport and so much outside of their sport. It blows me away. It blows me away. So I'm really blessed.
Man, we all are blessed. And to see a person like him, something like that, just shows you the sheer determination that he has. Because when you have that type of determination, it's a determination that normal people don't have. You have to first have a lot of focus. You have to know who God is, and you have to know who yourself is and what you want to be and what you want to be remembered as, because that's what determines the outcome of how you perform. And when you want to be remembered as a person that never gave up, that's why he never quit. And that's what I call determination. Next level determination.
Absolutely. And we ran a little bit of a competition before, Roy, as well, because Ian has the fastest knockout in kickboxing history. The previous fastest record was 7 seconds, and he got it at 1.8. And your friend, one of the guys that you've worked with from the US, Mike Cook, is the one that guessed it right. So I'm going to send him a really cool prize that's going to blow his mind. But that was a bit of fun. That was a bit of fun earlier. So, Roy, I'm going to ask, because both of you have got some pretty strong connection around Muhammad Ali and what Muhammad Ali had to do with both of you stepping in the ring. So, Roy, I would love for you to share. Can you just share with everyone? And I love the story, because when you talk about what was going on at the age of 5 and what your main role in life was at the age of 5, I laugh because you always speak straight from the truth, from your heart, and definitely from your gut. So tell us, what got you into boxing?
What got me into boxing was when I was 5, my father was watching Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier. And I, at the time, was a really, really good, I called myself a professional agitator. I could get on somebody's nerves better than anybody I ever seen in my life. So at this time, I was watching the fight. My father was watching Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. So I stopped and started looking because my father was fascinated. I wanted to know what he was so fascinated about. So as I started watching, I realized that Muhammad Ali really was getting on Joe's nerves, then taking advantage of pissing Joe off. And I was the best at pissing people off. So I said right there, I said, wow, if somebody teach me how to punch like that, I already got the piss off part down pat. If they just teach me how to throw my hands, I can do that. So I became completely overwhelmed with Muhammad Ali because he was just what I thought I was. He was aggravating the heck out of this man and beating him up at the same time. I was like, I know, because I'm never going to get angry, but I'm going to piss everybody off that I can. And if somebody just teaches me how to throw my hands like that, I got it made. And that's what got me into boxing.
Wow.
Isn't that powerful? And we always, I remember growing up and, boys were meant to be seen and not heard, and girls had to sit there and colour or do something, play knuckles, I don't know. I kind of didn't do that. I kind of broke lots of rules.
Mm.
But it's at the age of 5 to have that profound understanding of, I already know how to piss everyone off, just teach me how to use my hands and I can do what this guy's doing and I can be great at it. Like I can be the best in the world. And as Ian says when he talks about 8-dimensional fighters, it's someone that takes it to a whole new level, right? So we dismiss kids. Now, if you go on to even any of Ian's social media as well, and I know Roy's really close with his kids as well. They're on a beautiful ranch. We're going to ask some more stories about that shortly. But kids, so many people want to shush kids up and not listen and not let them talk. And the thing is, I really believe the kids are here to teach us something new. Oh, totally. We're here to learn from them, not kind of ground them into a habitual, process that we've all gone through for decades and decades and decades. So, yeah, absolutely. I love it. I love at the age of 5, that was just a massive defining moment. I love the story. I already knew how to piss people off. I'm like, what? Every 5-year-old, but they're too scared to say it. I love it. So, and Ian, so tell us, you had a really strong connection with Muhammad Ali as well.
I'm just wondering how many world champions that have actually been started from Muhammad Ali. Mine was at 4, mate. At 4, I first saw Muhammad Ali on black and white TV, champion of the whole world. Doing something good for the world. I related with that, and I had that in my heart. I thought I wanted to do it. And I wasn't an ordinary 4-year-old. I had the 6-pack jumping off the roof, accident prone, all that sort of stuff, just crazy. But then he drove up this driveway and got out of his car and goes, this is my parents' house. First time I saw him calm. My parents' house, they never have to worry about other things to the day they live. Then I went, that's it, that's what I want to do. And then I started telling my mum I want to be world champion. She's like, no way, no fighters in the family. Dad's an ex-commando and stuff, and wanted the kids calm. Anyway, we were 6 years old, moving from Melbourne to Brisbane, interstate, in the back of the GDS Monaro. That's the Australian hot rod car. And I'm in the back, my brothers are in another car, and the Muhammad Ali song come on the radio. And I don't know if you had them over there. We had the stretchy dolls here, Muhammad Ali stretchy dolls, and I had one. I'm in the back of the car, and I got this tingle through my body. I knew then I was going to be champion of the world. And I've gone, Mum, I'm going to be champion of the world one day. And she goes, no, you're bloody not. And Muhammad Ali thing's going, the fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee. And I've gone, Mum, I'm going to be champion of the world. She's leant back in the back of the car and gone, smack, gave me a blood nose. And she goes, you like the feeling of that? That's what it'll feel like. Trying to deter me. A fireball went off in my stomach like the sun. For 2 days, all the way to Brisbane, all the way traveling in this car in my head, I'm going to be champion of the world, I'm going to be champion. Go to sleep, wake up, I'm going to be champion of the world, I'm going to be champion, I'm going to be champion of the world. And the Rocky movie, I saw that when I was 10, and I didn't want it, I desired it. I think that's the difference. Success is about desiring something. You can want something, you can need something, but it's the desire where it comes from. I desired that. And guess what, mate? When I was 24, I get a phone call, 5 weeks notice, exactly the same as Rocky. I got to live it. I'm fighting 4 times world champion Cash Gill from England, and it's on my mum's 50th birthday. And when I knocked the guy out, every single training millisecond flashed in front of my eyes in reverse. By the time my hands are up, I was a 6-year-old kid standing in the ring the first day that I said and knew that I'd be champion of the world. It was like, took me back. It was crazy. Nice. Muhammad Ali, same thing. Muhammad Ali.
Nice.
It was crazy. It started my journey too.
What an amazing story.
Yeah, it was good.
And all of you keep inspiring all the children of today. and all the people of today. That's what you have to realize is you might have been inspired by Muhammad Ali, but the three of you, that ripple effect en masse. I mean, when you step in the ring in September, do you know how many kids we're going to inspire?
So that's going to take me to my next drum roll. Are you ready? I've got the best drum. Roy Jones Jr. Something broke. Don't worry. Don't worry. No children are heard in this making of this webinar. Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson. Holy cow! What a lineup of just two of the best boxing fighters ever. Tell us, Roy, like, when you first got the call, what did you feel?
Well, I felt blessed by God, first of all, because I knew something big would come my way soon. I just didn't know when. And he always just put in the back of my mind, stay in shape, stay close to ready so you don't have far to go. I didn't know why, but I just kind of kept training my guys, and some days I work out with them, some days I watch them work out, but I just kept staying there. So when I got the call, I was like, wow, this is why he put the notion on me to stay ready, because how could I say no to Mike? So many people, so many rumors, so many different names being called out who were supposed to be opponents of Mike Tyson, and he calls me. That's crazy. And it's like, when you think about it, two of the biggest names, most exciting guys to ever box, getting the opportunity to share the ring together, you know it has to be fireworks, because he's the most exciting dude you ever want to see from the crazy side, and I'm the most exciting dude you ever want to see from the normal side. So when you put us both together, it got to be exciting. You understand me? So I was elated. I was fascinated. I was surprised. I was amazed, but I was mostly happy because I wanted to fight him when I was heavyweight champ of the world back in 2003. Never happened, but guess what? It killed two birds with one stone. I got what I wanted in wanting to fight Mike Tyson. And then I also got what people thought I had missed, which I thought I had missed too, which was the opportunity to share the ring with another great fighter in the social media era. Wow.
Yeah. And you've always wanted to fight Mike Tyson too, isn't it? Is that true? Like from the early days?
Yes.
Yeah,
he was the only person
I'm like, who's this crazy guy? You know, he's naturally super middleweight heavy. You know, challenging Tyson. That is just crazy.
When I won the heavyweight title, the only person fought. Yep.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's sensational. And I just want to share, so we're here talking about how, you know, what you're up to right now and what your feelings were when you got the call and knowing that you were God ready and that you've stayed active this whole time. You know, and we talked about being inspired by Muhammad Ali, and I just want to let you know that Mike Cook said when he was 8 years old, he saw you, Roy, fight Antoine Bird on TV. He was hooked from then on. I tried to do everything from that point on. I wanted to be like him, got to meet him later and train around him, and it was everything. Now I'm 13 and I was a pro. Like, feel that my everything, it's cellular part of my body is just tingling.
Yeah.
That is just so powerful, Mike. Thank you for sharing that. So, Roy, how does that make you feel when you know you've been driven from the age of 5 to piss people off and box really well, and you've then gone and been able to do that for someone else who's now watching you live? How does that make you feel?
Well, just like Ian did for you, it's like for us, it's important that we carry the torch. So, like Ali passed the torch to us. Now, it's our job to continue to pass that torch. If we don't continue to pass that torch, then we failed him and the people before him, because people set marks for us to come and take those marks and keep going a step further with it. They don't do it, stop. They don't do it for us to stop where they stopped at. They do it for us to pick up where they left off and carry on another step. And if we don't inspire other people, then we're not doing what Ali inspired us to do, because we all started because of Ali. So why can't we be the reason other people start? If we don't do that, then we're failing. And we're definitely not trying to fail him, or we wouldn't be here on this call today.
Yeah, you guys are like writing my heart feels all this call today. That is just beautiful. And amen to that, absolutely. Amen. And, you know, I can definitely tell you, as a woman in a male-dominated sport, there is a small handful of men that wear their heart on their sleeve and are there to do the good things. I'm not saying there are other people out there to do the good things, but there's a very small amount of men in the sport of boxing that go above and beyond for everybody else, right? And in the sport of kickboxing, in the sport of Muay Thai, it's like I've got the salt and pepper right here of probably the two most incredible men from two different fighting arts that, you know, it's all about love and light. It's all about connecting to other people. It's all about showing people what they're capable of, and being there to support them. Sally Ann, do you want to just give everybody a little bit of a rundown, a little bit of a share? We kind of flew you over to meet Roy in person, which was pretty exciting. And you went over there with your good friend Therese Kerr. Tell us what that was like. You went to the boxing with Roy, had some of these guys fighting on a boxing show. Tell me, what was that like?
It was absolutely incredible. And I'll jump the story to when we arrived at Lady Luck Casino, was it, in Mississippi for this fight night?
Yes.
And because it was a bit of an adventure getting there, but that's a story for another day. But when we walked into that arena, everyone in the room just turned to look at Roy, you know, and we were quite almost late, almost arriving because of our journey getting there. So everyone, you know, there was a fight on, but it's just this aura that Roy has. No one even announced that he was there, just kind of like the rumor spread through the room that he had arrived, and people look at Roy. But what most impressed me was the respect that everyone has in that room for Roy, but the respect he has back for everyone else. There is not a more gracious person that I have ever come across, and his entire team, what Therese and I noticed the most, you know, we watched, I think, about 6 fights that night. Everyone from Roy's training gym had total respect inside of that ring for their opponent. They were just gentlemen, and they were so spiritual and connected to what they were doing. And it stood out unbelievably compared to everyone else who fought that night. It was like they were coming from the right place, and they were just a class act. And Roy continued that. You know, the night was over, and he was pretty well the last person to leave that room. Anyone who wants a photo with him, anyone who wants to shake his hand, Roy gives them all the time in the world. It's just incredible. You are amazing, Roy.
Thank you.
But next time, let's take a car that is working well.
And Mike Cook, that was his last.
What did you say, Roy?
Yeah. The Mike Cook also fought that night. That was his last fight he had. Was that night that they were there.
Yeah, well, Mike, you were amazing.
That's sensational. And I really want to, I just want to share, because I love to really honour people that come on and listen. He's saying, yes, sir, thank you. Art has said, honouring the legacy and passing it on. Well said, the pride of Pensacola. So you got a few nicknames, but I also want to just go back when we're talking about the SAFE programs with Ian. Brian Haupt has shared that he tells karate students to scream fire in a dangerous situation to attract attention. Now, this guy, Brian Haupt, this gentleman right here, is teaching karate, obviously, and just leading people on a path of what's possible. Now, for those that don't know, Brian runs his own business, and he's also blind.
Wow. Right?
So he can hear, right? And it's just amazing. It's amazing the people that we connect into. So thank you so much, Sally Ann. That's amazing, Mike. You're all incredible. We got so much, amazing. So I want to ask you both, and I'll let Roy lead. Roy, you're the most life-changing fight you've had to date. What was the one that gave you
gave me most impact was the fight in the Olympics in 1988 in Seoul, Korea. That fight is why I have dual citizenship in Russia right now. That fight defined me as a person more so probably than any other fight that I had throughout my whole career. I was robbed of a gold medal that I, as the youngest member of the team at 19 years old, had sacrificed 9 years of my life to amateur boxing to win a gold medal in Seoul, Korea, and I was robbed by a rigged system. And for me to accept that and not act like Roy Jones wanted to act, because I didn't have Jones on my back, I had USA. So I wasn't representing myself, I was representing my country. Had I been representing myself, I would act a fool because I was wrong. I was wrong. in a bad way. But because I was representing my country, it would have made my country look bad if I would have acted a fool. So I had to be calm and remain and show class, because it wasn't about Roy Jones Jr., it was about my whole country. And I refused to make my country look bad because of a misjust that had been done to me. And that was the most life-changing fight that I ever had.
Unbelievable. So tell me, how did that just make you feel then, hearing
mate,
the distinction?
Wow, you just put yourself in a whole new dimension again, because like you said, when you're in the ring, you're by yourself. You get trained with a team, you do the team, but you're by yourself. And a lot of fighters say, I'm this, I've done that, I fought, and they sort of they're the fighters that would have gone off their head and got angry and all that sort of stuff. But something similar we share. We don't just fight for ourselves. We fight for our purpose. We fight for our country. We fight for our family. And that's what it's always been for me. Fight for my trainer, all that sort of stuff. So I relate to that so much that's incredible. But to do that for your country under that circumstances, after all that time, and that's your one, because at the end of the day, that song Hurricane could have been champion of the world. I don't know about you, but that terrified me coming up. You know, that song could have been champion of the world. Hurricane, that was a terrible song. But you know what I mean? And that's that moment. You got to live that moment. I had one of those too, man, where I nearly got there. I thought I was a champion before I got there. My first world title fight, 13th fight, and I lost it. You know what I mean? So, and but to have that happen, to have that much respect for your country, that just says who you are. That is amazing. Roy Jones, wow. That just took you on a whole nother level.
And for those of us who don't know much about boxing, Roy, were you an amateur then, or were you a professional?
Yeah, I was amateur.
And would you have turned professional earlier if it wasn't for the Olympics?
Yes.
Wow. So you delayed your career to be able to do that and then got ripped off of the gold medal.
Yes.
Amazing.
Did you end up getting one? Did you go again, or was that it?
That was it. In our country, you go in your turn.
That's hard. That is even harder again. Wow.
How did it define you further on? So what did you take away from that then defined the rest of your career?
Well, it takes you back, and I hate to say it, Sally, but it's like when I got back home, I had pledged to quit boxing. And when I got back and saw the looks on all the amateur kids in my gym and saw their eyes, and they didn't know me as a quitter. So no matter how sad I was, and it almost brings me to tears now thinking about it, no matter how sad I was because of what happened, if I quit, how was I ever going to tell them when times get tough, you don't give up? So that it made me turn that switch back on and say, I got to go. I hate it. I know I was cheated. It was wrong, but that gives me no reason to quit on these kids. Because if I quit, how am I ever going to be a short representation for a person that when it gets tough, you don't give up? I can't say that if I quit. So I couldn't quit.
Wow.
Like people who are on this call and that are going to get to watch the recording of this webinar, seriously, are you listening to the hearts and the connections of what drives these, all like us athletes is powerful. Roy Arders also said he was 18 years old and deployed to Korea that year. Roy was strong to endure such robbery, a true sportsman. Now I remember, hey Lucinda and Andrea, I remember, Roy, you mentioned on one of our other calls that the decision had already been well and truly been made. What had shown up the next, was that the one where they'd already had something already printed? Was that the same fight?
Say again now?
Yeah, was that the same fight where the newspaper had already printed who had won the fight?
Oh, no. That was at the regional Golden Glove. That was a different fight.
Okay.
All right.
You have to tell us about that as well. And listen to that, because there's so many times in life that we can get knocked down and we think we should have got the promotion, we should have won this, or we should have kept the boyfriend, the girlfriend, whatever it may be, and it didn't happen. And we it's so easy for us to go into that self-destructive, well, forget it, I'm done. I would have sworn then, but I won't. I nearly wanted to, and just be in that space of, I'm finished. Whereas when you start looking at it and go, am I here for me or am I here for other people? It makes a really big difference. And before I go into yours, Ian, I want to share a really quick story. I travelled over to Japan, and also the WIBA world title. And I got over there and I was in front of, oh my gosh, it was like probably about 3,000, 4,000 people. It was pretty big. And I fought this woman who didn't look like a woman at all, but I fought and I had done damage. Like she could, at the end of the fight, she could hardly even stand up. She was kind of rocking in the corner. You could hear her corner, just saying, keep standing. Like she just couldn't drop. And she won the fight. I had not a scratch on me. She had like her eyes were shut. You could see the cheekbone was I'd fractured her skull. Like this woman had nothing. And I was like, what? How can they do that? And that was my pivotal moment of, is this really what I want? And then what I had to dig in and realize is that if I walked away the winner, would boxing still be going for women in Japan right now? If I wiped out their only chance at a world champion, would it still be going? So I come home holding my head up high thinking they needed the win. I congratulated her. I hugged her. I just, I knew she was going off to hospital. I knew in my heart who had won, but I just thought it was exactly what was meant to happen. Exactly what was meant to happen. Yep. So tell us about, Ian, your the most fight you had.
For me, it would have been the one point, a couple, but the one point, my dad got cancer. So my dad got cancer, goes to hospital. They said to Peter, he's not leaving. He's not leaving the hospital. And I thought that meant he had months to live. And I've gone to the gym, I've torn a bag in half. I've prayed every God and every religion before I had one.
Just wait there. Hang on. We've got some feedback. I'm just going to unmute. Let's try that. Is that any better?
Is that better?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so would definitely be the 1.8 second knockout. I hadn't fought for 8 years. I've got, mum's giving me a phone call, Dad's in hospital. We go there, they go, Dad's going to die in hospital, he's not going to leave. And I prayed every God, every religion, give us a sign that, and I go to the gym, I tear a bag in half and there was a matchmaker there. Long story short, I ended up training I had to lose 15 kilos in, 10 days? Yeah, 15 kilos in 10 days before this fight. And I get a 1.8 second knockout, but it was fighting but my dad basically goes, he's at 90, he had prostate cancer, he had 95% bone cancer. I've turned around and said, Dad, it's a big money fight. I'm going to get you home because I bought him 40 acres. The house wasn't finished. They were living in the shed. I said, I'm going to get the house finished. We'll get doctors at home. You can die at home, because I thought he had months to live. We didn't know they'd give him 3 days. And anyway, I've told Dad, I've left. Mum's rung me crying and said, you're not going to believe this. Dad, 95% bone cancer, has pulled himself out of bed, told the doctors where to go. He said, if my son's fighting, I'm fighting. He lasted 3 years. He lasted 3 years. So
wow,
definitely for me, that was my biggest one. Yeah. And he 3 years. 3 years. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Wow. I am crying here.
Yeah.
Isn't it the power of, and here comes Willie. It's never a Zoom call without Willie.
Hey.
There you go, Willie. Say hi, there's Roy, Willie.
Hi.
Rock and Roy.
I'm
What's up, buddy? How you doing? How are you?
Good.
Good.
Oh my gosh. So just the whole meant to be. So you got your dad home?
Yeah. We got Dad home. We got the house finished. So promising moving there by
3
Christmas.
years.
And without working at home, working and helping all the workers, they're going, mate, go home. I go, no. We promised Dad he's going to get in there by Christmas. So Christmas Eve, we bought the bed from the shed over and put it in there. You wake up Christmas Day in there, and Mum and Dad wake up in the
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I share something with you there, mate, because me being world champion was never about me. One bit about me, the money, but predominantly I knew that we didn't have a family that was rich or on TV or anything, and I wanted to do something good for the world. And I knew to have a voice, I had to be a world champion. And that's what, and that's one of the things. Once I won my first world title on Mum's 50th, that's when it all changed, because you go from somebody that can talk to somebody that's actually listened and respected in the community. So for me, I always knew becoming a world champion, the biggest part was so I had a voice so people could listen, and that's probably been the most, the thing that's given me the most, the gift, being able to share. Like, I know you'd be the same way. We can spend 5 minutes with a kid or a teenager especially, and they can be going on this path, and we can just change the angle and put them on that path. You know what I mean? And it just changes their whole life.
Right away.
5 minutes with somebody and totally redirect their life. And especially when they've got a strong soul like us and they might have the guidance, we can put them in there and all the other kids follow. I love getting the baddest, toughest little kid, that's not had that guidance, give them that guidance, and then everyone else follows, you know what I mean? So you can create these little things, and that's the greatest gift that I share. Yeah. And that's the new sport.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's so Roy, talk to us as well. So become a world champion, what did that mean to you?
For me, it was just fulfilling something that I thought God had ordained me to do already. And I also wanted to let the kids from my city, from my gym, from my area know that you can do anything if you believe in God first and then believe in yourself. Doesn't matter about where you're from. If you put your mind to it, put God first and put your mind to it, I don't care where you come from, you can do anything you want to do. Don't let people tell you nothing no different. And that's what becoming a world champion was for me.
That's beautiful. Listen to you guys.
And can I just say something? Roy, I've come from a place where I've always known I've been guided, protected, gave a gift greater than normal. But I've only just really recently started a relationship with God and realized it's God's given gift to me. Do you know what I mean? And Ian means John, messenger of God. And my greatest gift is what I can talk to people and share with people. So now that I've had that, my whole world's just changed lately. In the past 6-12 months, a lot of really hard things have happened that took me away from bad people and put me in front. And what I thought was the heartaches and what I thought was the worst things happened to me was actually promoting me, was actually making sure that, they're testing me. And I've stayed true to myself through these times, and I've stepped forward, and now I'm just more empowered and more focused and more God-gifted than I've ever been in my entire life. And I just feel so gracious and thankful for that,
That is so awesome, and I'm so glad to hear that, because that's what God does for you. It's like, you understand, here I am now at 51 years old in the biggest, most anticipated, highlighted fight of my career, and I'm 51. That only could be the grace of God. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it when I was in my prime. I tried, but I couldn't do that. Only the grace of God could do that, man. But God protects us and prepares us for where he has us going. And we have to always know that. That's why people say, you crazy, you don't care about anything. I care about everything. But I know who's got my back. When God for you, who can be against you? So I don't really care, because I feel like God sends me to do the work that he wants me to do. If he didn't want me to do it, he won't let it happen. He never brought me to nothing that I couldn't get through. And I still don't think he's ever going to bring me to something that I can't get through. And if he did, he would have me there for a reason. So even at the Olympics, when I noticed 2 days, right away the second day, I knew that this was a blessing from God. Now, I didn't know how, but I knew it was a blessing from God, because that's how much faith I have in God. And I'm still, to this day, living from that same blessing, from that belief that I had from that one day, way back in 1988 in Seoul Olympics, because of what God did for me. I knew he would turn the worst day of my life, I thought, into the best day of my life. That's what God can do for you.
Yeah, 100%, feeling it, living it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. This is the most emotional webinar I've ever done. Yeah. And Ian said to me, should we be in 2 separate rooms, or can I just hang out here and kind of knock into you a few times? And I'm like, no, let's just hang out together. And I also want to share, for me, it was a first for women in boxing. Like, I was nicknamed the Dawn Fraser of boxing. So anyone in the US, Dawn Fraser was like the most incredible swimmer who broke world records and all sorts of crazy stuff over here in Australia throughout the Olympics. And so I started being called the Dawn Fraser of boxing, the $1 Million Baby. It was amazing. You were I remember stepping into meetings to be able to just be able to fight. And say, well, women aren't allowed to fight. And this is with boxing. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. They would say, well, what if you get into a part and they touch you on the breast? And I'm like, what? Dude, seriously, that's just crazy stuff. Who cares? And I remember, for me, it was like, I wanted to be out. I was so far outside the box. At the age of 13, I was saying, Dad and I having an argument about homework. And I'm like, I don't need maths to count money and to hit people. And he's like, what? And I'm like, and because he said, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I just want to be the best in the world. And he's like, what at? And I'm like, I think my fists are going to get me there. I've been doing karate. I've done karate, light contact kick or full contact karate, light contact kickboxing, full contact kickboxing, Muay Thai, like everything. Every time I ran out of opponents, I jumped to the next fighting sport. I never went into MMA. I have lots of respect for anyone that's in it, but for me, being on top of someone on the ground just is far too brutal. Punch them in the face. I just, you know, with hardly anything on your knuckles,
You've done it to me before.
Yeah, that's different. For me, it was like, I just wanted to show girls and women that they could step outside a box, that there's a box that we have been placed in, that we're not all, I had ballerina wallpaper. I remember saying, there's no way knowing I can be a ballerina. I can't stay still and be quiet and just be prissy, because that's just not me. I was just loud and robust and just raw, you know. I had 3 brothers. I had to beat them at everything, and I was so competitive. And it's the same thing. It's like, how do I just go and impact more people? And when I look back now, my voice was about letting women step out of what is their expected duty in this world. I remember stepping in the ring the first time, even when I was going to get in the ring in the first time, I was on the Joe Bugner and Bone Crusher Smith undercard. It was July 4 here in Australia. And I remember, it actually might have been July 5 here, so it was July 4 back in the US. And I remember they come up to me in the ring and they said, we've decided we're not going to sanction your fight. And I'm just like, what? It's already been done. And they're like, no, we're not. Hey, Willie. Oh, Willie Spider-Man, know everybody. And I just said, you can't be serious. And they said, it's going to be best if you just pack up and go, right? Just grab your gear and go. And I said, yep, no worries.
Yes, me.
It's just you're good hiding. And I just said to them, I said to Dad, follow me. And Dad said, what are you going to do? Hang on, Willie. And Dad said, what are you going to do? I said, just follow me. And I remember walking past like some of the best boxers out of our country. And I was having things yelled at me about how women should be in the kitchen, right? By professional fighters. And I'm just thinking, I stepped up in that ring and Dad's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, and there's 5,000 people. I said, Dad, we're in a place. Oh, don't mean to do that. Can someone grab Willie? He's trying to turn a meeting off. Yeah, thanks. And I remember, I just said to Dad,
What's that?
that's Uncle Ian's phone. I just, here, you take it, go.
There you go.
And
Watch the credit cards in there, mate.
quick, go shopping now, Willie. And I remember, I just said to Dad, I'm in here. Their job now is to get me out. And I just grabbed the microphone from the guy that was the commentator. And I just said, hey, everyone, I'm just being told that you might not want to see 2 women fight like men or better than men. Let me know. If you want me to step out the ring, I will. Or do you want us to go toe-to-toe and have a war in here? And the crowd went crazy. And I just watched all these like officials just kind of sit down and go, shh, what has she done? So that was, you know, now I could have had that moment where I just went, all right, well, we're out. See you later. Let's go home, Dad. And I was just like, same thing when I went to the USA. What was meant to have happened when I went to the US all fell through. It all fell through. The person that was organising the fights and had the sponsors, when I got there with my 4 kids, with Anthony, it all fell through. And I reached up and just went, oh my gosh. And I just started talking to God saying, you need to give me the person that is going to help me right now, because I am not packing my family up and going back home. It just cost me over $20,000 to get here. And he puts me in the hands of Roy Jones Jr. Ooh. And I was just like, Roy was messaging me within about, not even, I think it was about 3 minutes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's a god. Yeah. He's like a god in, you know, and I know that we don't like to kind of praise ourselves too much, but in the world of boxing, you are just, yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
And to step into his ring, into his gym, and I walked into another gym a couple of nights, or the night before, thinking it just didn't feel right. It was a great gym, famous gym, but I just felt like I was that kind of white girl hanging out in the wrong part of the hood, right? And I felt like there was no, you know, there was no appreciation. There was no, I felt like I was lost, right? And people just looking at me like, who is this woman? And it was like, just go over there to a bag over there and just go and do that. And you know, I just felt really out of my comfort zone. And, you know, we go through everything to learn. I remember walking into Roy's gym, and when you walk into these gym in Vegas, you'd walk, next thing you know, I'm looking over his gym thinking, everyone can see me. There was men training everywhere, and he stopped the entire gym. And he said to them, I just want to let you know, we've never had a woman, apart from someone coming to watch us train in this gym before. This woman is a 5-time world champion. She is a champion already in her own right. And I'm taking her under my wing, and we're going to train together, and I'm going to help her get to the next stage of her career. And it was just, you know, and he just said to them, give her the respect that she deserves. And I was just blown away. Like I'm about to start crying. So again, I could have walked out of the US and just gone, let's just get on a plane and get home. Don't worry about it. And I was like, send me where I need to be. And it was the same thing when it comes to, you know, stepping into business together, you know, creating this global movement together. It was like, who am I going to speak to? And the first person that came into my head was Roy Jones Jr. I can tell you the second person that came into my head was standing right next to me. And Ian's been a part of this team as well, very quietly for the last few months for sure. So it just kind of, I just really believe that, again, God puts you in front of the people that are there to teach you something or to and support you on your growth for sure. So I'm going to get Sally Ann to share some information. Sally Ann, because you are amazing. And we've got some visuals there we can look at as well, just in case we've got any auditories on there.
Sorry, what?
Sorry.
Okay, I'll quickly share for you. And just before I do, I just want to say to the three of you, this is the most incredible webinar I have ever been on. Like, has there ever been so much inspiration in 45 minutes? And just the stories that you have told, that people can take that away into their life now, because let's face it, some people are doing it really tough right now. And we all need to be our own world champion right now. And some of the key things I've taken away, I've kind of written down a bit of a 3-step thing here that is a consistent theme that has come out from the three of you. And number one was you all had the courage to dream that you could be the world's best. And you all did it at a young age, you know, and that doesn't matter. You can do it at any age. I'm sure, I know all three of you have got new goals now of what you're going to be the world's best at, but you had the courage to dream that. You did the work, but you've all said you never quit. Like, that was the biggest thing. You had so many opportunities that you probably could have walked away and just thrown it all in and said, I'm done. I've done all this work. The results aren't here, and I'm done throwing it in. And the third thing is that you've all said is that there is a power greater than you that is here to support you if you choose to let it. And I just take those three things away to say, if we can keep that in mind, like have the courage to dream, do the work and never quit, and know that there's a greater power to support us in whatever we are doing, we can all be world champions of our life. And I think that's just an amazing thing for everyone to take away today. So I want to say thank you. I'm so blessed to have all three of you, you know, aligned to Inner Origin. It is, when you talk about having the courage to dream, I wrote a dream list when we started this company that we would attract some of the world's greatest athletes that have ever been, some of the world's greatest wellness influencers, because I believe they needed to come together on one platform and share in a voice that could awaken people to say, one, we deserve transparency in the products that we're buying, and two, we deserve to have the very best of wellness products, because the rate of health epidemic in the world right now, in my view, is completely out of control. The lack of transparency that is available to people in the products that we're consuming, there's so much hidden that people don't know about. The level of toxicity, the level of nasty toxins and chemicals that people are consuming in their life, you know, in their body, on their body, and around their home. And statistics now are sharing, you know, in many cases, scientists are saying that 90% of chronic illness is being caused by inflammation and chemical toxicity. Well, don't we need to do something about it? Don't we need to reduce the level of chemical toxicity that we're exposing ourselves to and we're consuming in our body? And Inner Origin is here to provide, you know, the best of wellness products, but to educate people as well and to inspire people. You know, when we educate and inspire, people will take action in the way that we want. You know, we don't want to be taking action from fear. We want to be taking action from inspiration. And the three of you today have just inspired me, and I've no doubt everyone else on this platform, to be the very best version of themselves. And that means, you know, fueling your body with the best that you can as well. So Sharon, I might just send back to you quickly just to share on that. I know that how important that is to the three of you.
I just really want to quickly share, you know, give all praises to God. Good to hear you saying that, Roy. Faith is in short supply these days. Where two or more are greater, he will be there. Absolutely. Like from Rock and Ricardo is glory to God. Brian, the gentleman that I was talking to you about that can't see, just said he's 53 years old, and after this call, he's going to lift his game for his next grading at the end of the year. Like, oh my gosh, Andrea's crying. Don't worry, I'm crying too, babes. Don't worry. It's just Glenn Ferrugia saying amazing, thank you. Well said, Sally-Ann. Sally-Ann, education is key. Now, I just want to share before Sally-Ann does. Thank you, Legends. I really want to share the reason we've come into this business is because we become educated. We listen to Sally-Ann, we listen to Therese Kerr, we start understanding more around chemical toxicity. We've got incredible, I was on a webcast with one of our other ambassadors, Helen Patteran, who's an incredible naturopath here in Australia. And she was sharing they're massive statistics, but serotonin's made in our gut. Right now, serotonin is one of the most incredible happy fluids that we have that floats around in our brain. Our gut is our first brain. It's our big brain, right? It gets created there. Now, if you're hammering your gut with hamburgers and fries and garbage foods and soft drinks and food that is not like vitality foods and foods that's not fueling your body, then I can tell you what, there's a pretty direct link to emotional wellness. Yeah, absolutely. And what's going in your mouth, you know, and I can definitely say that, you know, some of the stuff that Sally-Ann's going to share, I'm working with a group of people that I'm about to bring Roy and Ian into the group as well. It's a lot of men in there that are dealing with emotional fitness. Are they fit emotionally? No, they may be fit physically, but emotionally they may not be, right? There's women in there as well. It's open to everyone. If someone's invited you onto this call, just go and speak to them about how you get into there. But what it's about too is giving strategies on what to do. But one, cleaning up your body. Like, I lead with everything. Somebody comes and talks to me about anything, and like, even when I first spoke to Roy and he was telling me about what was going on with him, Sally and I was, first thing we said is, we just need to detox your body. Let's go and detox your body first. And you know, the results of detoxing your body has been amazing. And inside this group, which is all about mental fitness, right, that all emotional fitness, is people are saying to me, like, I've gone for 8 or 10 years or more of being in a depressed, anxious state, and I'm actually waking up feeling good, right? Pain has decreased in my body, you know, and then people are probably starting to realize now that inflammation and mental wellness, emotional wellness, everything's linked, completely linked. So when Sally and you know, Therese and, you know, got other naturopaths that are in our teams, and like, I feel like I'm nearly a naturopath because I've learned so much information. When they're sharing statistics, you know, around what's going on. And I know, Roy, what I'll get you to do too is share kind of, I'm not going to share the statistics, so I'm going to let you share about what really got you to say yes to In Origin when you'd heard about it as well. It just blew me away that we just don't know. Right, we're uneducated, and this is why we've come together, is to educate more people. Do we want you to come and shop from us? Absolutely. Do we want you to come and be a part of our global movement? Absolutely. I'm not going to hold that back. Whether it's our team you're in or somebody else has invited you on here, we shine the light for all of Inner Origin. We don't shine the light just for ourselves. This is about shining the light for everyone. So if people have invited you to this call, they've shared the recording, like, we're a part of a greater movement. Right? This, again, it's not about us. I stepped into this company saying I wanted to raise 10,000 leaders inside this company worldwide. We're an essential services company, right? It doesn't matter how much more crazy this world gets and how many more things they shut down. They can't shut us down. Not only are we an essential services company because of the, you know, our grocery items and everything that are on our platform, all of our other products are still available, right? And when you think Amazon and think of everything that comes through Amazon, In Origin, think Amazon of wellness. It's already been tested, trialed, and made sure that the products are like just a great addition to whatever's already going on in your life. So, Roy, before Sally-Ann starts, I would love, I'll get Roy to share, and then Ian will come back to you about, I remember sitting in a coffee shop. I think we spoke for about 8 minutes. And he's just like, yes, let's go and do a live. And so, Roy, I'd love you to share. I know I emailed you and I thought, oh, he's never going to answer me. I just kept thinking he's probably not going to answer me. He's probably not going to answer me. And I had for about a month emails from him that I didn't realize, because there's over 250,000 emails in my inbox with Roy saying to me, are you going to tell me what you want? Oi, hey, I'm here. And I'm getting ready to fly to Sydney and meet Sally-Ann. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's messaged me a second time. He's going to kill me. And I rang him, like, we spoke quite quickly, and he's like, I'm in Russia. I can do a call. And I get to Sydney and I'm like, I'm shaking in excitement, because yes, I've trained with him. Yes, we did incredible things, but he's still just someone that I just look up to and think, my gosh, you are a gift to this world. And then next thing you know, my phone's ringing and it's on video, and Sally-Ann's answering. I'm like, I can't, have a look at me. And she's like, shut up, answer the phone, quick. And we got on a call with Roy, and it was so funny. Like, I'm still a woman, right? and we got on a call with Roy, and it was just powerful. Roy, I would love you to share, like, what happened, like that call and the connection, like what happened?
Well, it's just the call kind of gave me some clarity on the fact that I wasn't the only person that was seeing things happen differently than what they happened when I was a kid. When I was a kid in school, there was 2 or 3 kids, maybe 5 at the max, in the whole school that had asthma. Elementary school, middle school, and high school. You knew if somebody had an asthma attack, you almost knew who it was because only a handful of kids had asthma. Not everybody had asthma. Now, 2 out of my 3 kids at home have asthma. How? Asthma is not something that's contagious. Asthma shouldn't be picked up overnight or by being in contact with people that have asthma. So why do so many people have asthma now? Asthma not a disease that's supposed to be hereditary. Why do so many kids have asthma now? I couldn't understand it, but I know something's wrong. So when Sharon started talking about the company, I was like, wow, finally somebody understands what I'm saying and understand that something is wrong. Not as many people should have asthma. Not the people, the pregnancy rate. You can't, our testosterone is dropping every year. You know, men testosterone, everybody got to have all these, every commercial you see is about male testosterone because testosterone is dropping so bad. Why is it dropping so bad? We haven't changed. We're still humans. We still live in the same environment. Why is everything going so bad? Well, when she started telling me about all the stuff they're putting in the foods and all the vaccines they give us, and in origin started bringing me facts about some of these things that they're doing, then it made sense to me. I knew it was something, but I had never been able to put my finger on it. But when she came with Inner Origin, it kind of put my finger right where I was reaching for. I knew I was in the right direction, but I wasn't on the facts. Inner Origin came with the facts, and that helps me. So when I found that out, I was like, hey, you singing my song. I've been saying this for years. I just didn't have the facts or the time to go find the facts to back up my theories of what I thought. Now you guys, Sally Ann has done it. So this makes it an easy marriage for me. So let's make it happen. And that's how I became a partner.
And so powerful. And hear him talk about sperm count dropping like by a lot. Now, Sally Ann and Therese, when they come over and met you over in the States and they went to the fights, they end up back at your house. And I believe you guys kind of hung out and chatted for a while. Do you remember what time you finished talking about all this stuff around your table?
Oh my gosh. Well, in between a 5-hour car trip there and back and your house, hours.
I think Sally Ann had
we did 24 hours, didn't we, Roy?
Yes.
I think we got home about 6 a.m.
A fun 12 hours.
It was the first all-nighter Sally Ann. It was the first all-nighter Sally Ann pulled for a while.
It was, but that's okay. All for a great cause. It's just so honoured to be, having you incredible individuals, lead this movement, because when we have powerful people like yourselves who have achieved to the top of their industry, people will listen, and we need people to listen. There is, just to share a quick few facts for people who may never have heard these things. For example, in the area of personal care, in the US and Australia, there is no safety testing required before products go on the shelf. They do not have to prove to anybody what is in those products. So when you walk into the supermarket and you're getting your body wash, you're getting your deodorant, you're getting your shampoos, you're getting your moisturizer, nobody, and I mean nobody, has looked at those products to test them for safety. Behind the word fragrance, up to 3,000 banned chemicals can exist in the products hidden behind that word. They are banned in the US, banned in Australia because they've been proven to be known carcinogens, for example, formaldehyde in products, but they can still be in your personal care products hidden behind the word fragrance in intellectual property trade secret law. And you will never know that those products are there. When you buy an organic product, there's plenty of people on here who maybe choose to shop organic as a preference. If you in Australia buying a product that has organic splashed across the front of it, it can be the biggest word on the label, and there still may only be 2 ingredients in there that are organic, and the rest of them can be nasty toxins and chemicals. unless you are buying products that you know have been reviewed properly by people who know what they're looking for, how do you really know what you're consuming? So Inner Origin is here to lift the benchmark for people, to give you a place to shop where you know that we are looking at these products. Our suppliers have to declare every ingredient in every product. There is no such thing as hiding behind the word fragrance. There is no such thing as hiding that, you know, pretending a product's organic and it's still full of nasty toxins and chemicals. We show every ingredient in every product on the Inner Origin marketplace. We launched just over 3 years ago. We shipped over 2.5 million products in our first 3 years. As of January this year, we now are open and shipping into the US, Japan, New Zealand, the UK, and soon to be Singapore, and no doubt, Roy, soon Russia. And we have, you know, as these incredible individuals said, you know, they had a dream, a goal. They knew that they could be the world's number one. Well, when we created Inner Origin, we knew that we could be a global company. We knew that we could be a driving force in the change for wellness around the world, because there is nobody that is communicating this information properly, and there is no one that is providing a platform that has the solutions. And it's needed, you know, to share a brief little story, and I'll let you all go. But people like to know, where did this come from? Where did this passion come from? Well, when I was 24, 25, my brother was diagnosed with over 400 tumors across his kidneys. He actually had thousands at a microscopic level, and a type of cancer only 4 people in the world have ever had. There is not a doctor today who sees his case who still doesn't say this is the most mind-blowing thing I have ever seen in my life. Honestly, I've never met a doctor who doesn't say that. We searched everywhere for answers for him in the Western medical fraternity, you know, in Australia, Europe, the US, and not one clinic, private or public, had answers for him. So without any answers there, he embarked on a full natural healing program under the protocol of the Gerson Institute, GERSON. And that institute was probably the first, it's a non-for-profit organization, one of the first in the world to focus on detoxification of the body and encouraging natural healing. Now, I'm not making claims of the way people should handle their own chronic illness, because everyone's path is different. This is just his story. But he then spent the next 5 years completely housebound. He was 13 organic juices a day, 6 enemas a day, 192 supplements a day. He had to eat all raw organic vegetables. He still hasn't showered in normal water for 10 or 11 years. And when you hear Roy and Sharon and Ian talking about their stages when they wanted to quit, things weren't working out the way they wanted, well, I can tell you, in that 5 years of being housebound, he did not see one positive result for 3 years. So he would go and get scans and things hadn't changed. It was Groundhog Day with blind faith like you can't believe, when everyone had only given him a very short time to live. So that journey for me, we had to know what was in the products that were around him. So I started going into the supermarket. I'm like, hang on, this isn't transparent. Hang on, this isn't what it's like. And when we started looking into it, there was a whole bunch of people around the world that were calling for transparency. You know, there was a movement in the US called the Just Label It Foundation, and millions and millions and millions of dollars have been donated by some of the biggest companies and biggest individuals in the US to back this Just Label It Foundation. And the statistics they showed was that 83% of Americans were calling for truth on labeling. But, you know, in all the millions and millions of dollars that had been invested into this non-for-profit, they were making no progress whatsoever in trying to fight government on this. And it's the same in Australia. You know, there has been no progress. If anything, we've gone backwards in terms of what's required in labeling. And I'm a very big believer in not fighting the old, but building the new. Why waste energy on fighting against a brick wall or fighting something that's old and very hard to move? What is stopping us from creating a platform that asks for more from suppliers, that gives customers better education and provides the transparency that people are looking for? Well, nothing is stopping us doing that. And that's exactly what we're doing. We are a people-powered movement. So we predominantly grow through affiliates. And that is because we can bring people in front of education like you've experienced today. If we were just a store that you went into and shopped off the shelf, or we were only promoting on social media, you would not get the magic that you have heard today. And it is in this education, in this inspiration, that we really can leave this world a better place. So that's enough from me. If anyone is interested to know more, please contact the person who asked you on this webinar. We would love for you to be shopping within Inner Origin or become part of the community as an affiliate. If you feel like doing something crazy while the whole world is crazy with this lockdown, do a detox, because you're at home anyway a lot more than you've ever been before. And this is a time that you can cook meals to go with these incredible products we have. We have 3 incredible detox programs, a 15-day, a 21-day, and a 28-day. And your body will love you for it. I can promise you that.
Absolutely, absolutely. My body definitely has. My kids are even on the detoxes. And just I want you to share. I kind of turned up at the cafe with you and Sally Ann. And how did that make you feel when you were hearing all these?
Well, my background, like I said, I'm here. My whole purpose is to give to others. I got to 42 and I hit the wall. Started getting a little bit. I'm 50 now, but basically got unfit. Started getting heart, a little bit of heart pains and this and that. And I said, I went to a state what I call acceptance, where you just accept you're getting old, you're going to die. And then I just went, like Roy, like me, like your brother, you know what I mean? No, if that, let's fight against this. So I started my own journey. I thought, how many others are like this with me? I got ripped, I got fit, I got healthy. And because whenever I used to fight, I used to get on similar products, you know what I mean? Not as good as this, but similar products where they're clean, they're from Malayans, they're from this, they're from that, really pure, educated, healthy food and nutritional intake. But what blew me away is like my program, I set World Champion Experiences, middle-aged health, fitness, well-being, disease prevention, longevity. Predominantly live longer, live healthier, educate them on what the real health is. Like there are medical things that we do need to know, but let's be honest, the medical industry doesn't like the healthy alternative because they don't get paid for it. So there is 2 options there. You do need both in certain things, but definitely I looked at that. And when my father got sick, I went right into research. What causes cancer? What causes illness? What causes us to get sick? Even like coronavirus and inflammatories, you know what I mean? Markers. These are really basic, really things that we know that the medical industry, if they go and tell certain people certain things, they lose their license, so they get in trouble for it. So the information is scientifically proven. It's not medically proven on some of it, but it is scientifically proven that it does help. And we know through case. And so I've helped many people. I've had many people give them 12 months, 2 years to live, and still alive now. Same thing. Take them on the journey to re-educate them with that new thing. So I've stepped away from that for a little bit. My World Champion experience was very successful. I'd stopped doing that. And then when I bumped into you guys, I just went, oh, wow. Because I know this stuff. I know what you're talking about. I understand the language. And I've gone, you've got that with that and that and that and that together. I didn't know that could exist. Are you serious? That's normally a very expensive process. And how much is it? My God, you know what I mean? It's really affordable. It's really cheap. It's really simple. But there's really good stuff in there that really makes an impact, changes lives, has been proven to do so. So that's where I just went, where do I sign up? Let's go. Yeah. We're on this. Because for me, I can just simply tap someone that's uneducated instead of me sitting down with them for like hours on end and trying to educate them or introducing them. There's one easy, there's a platform. They can come, they can learn, they can study, they can ask, they can talk to you guys, and it can all happen really easy. And it is life-changing. Do you know what I mean? So whether it's for yourself, and the main one for me, like I'm 50 now. I'm older than you. Roy, I mean younger than you. You're older than me, which is good.
You're older than me.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, you're the young one. You're the young one. But predominantly, we got children. Like my son's 30, but I've just got a 4-year-old daughter, which means I've got to live now till I'm 80. So it's a real concern. I've got to touch, and for her and for myself, you've got to start making those healthy choices.
Absolutely.
For longevity. So for me, it was a no-brainer. You know what I mean? I couldn't help but jump on. The stuff that you've got out of everything I've learned makes more sense than anything. The big one for me was how affordable it is, how easy it is to get into, and the education support that you've got there, which helps me out so I can introduce people simply.
Yeah, beautiful. I love it. So I'm going to open up for questions. We want to also hear, Ian, what is Thunderball? But I'm going to open up for questions as well. I know we've definitely gone well over an hour, but this has just been so much gold. And I want to hit Roy with a couple more questions about what's coming up with Mike Tyson shortly. Yeah. So Roy, please hang in there. Do you want to give him a quick rundown of what's Thunderball? Like, people that want to make an impact, create, right? That's what we do.
Yeah. So I was angry one day. I was in the gym and I'm at the big exercise ball. I started kicking and punching it against the wall. Within 30 seconds, I was exhausted and went fitness programs, games, sport, everything. So what I've basically done is I've created using all boxing and kickboxing skills and a big soft ball in a smaller court than a squash court, with a net at the back, so you bounce off it, you can run up the walls, soft pad. It's a fighting fitness game. So it basically high intensity. You get, and it uses, there's no better cross training for like, well, one for you, for ex-fighters in combat fighting. It fires up your nervous system. So it's really good for recreating youth. It's spontaneous. The ball, it works on dynamic footwork with full power, full speed, power, precision, and timing with the ball. Now this ball, I call it thunderball because when you hit it, it sounds like thunder going off. And the ball goes at about 100, 200 Ks an hour, which is about 160 miles an hour, I think. Just so we put it in your terms there, Roy. But the ball flies, and it's a big soft ball. The hit it doesn't worry you. But it uses, so for me, I'm not keen to get back in that ring, mate. I'm not quite as courageous as you. It hurts too much when I jump in there. I'm 50. I'm over that one. But I get to test all my fight skills and you get to compete with the most essential fighting parts, the dynamic footwork, timing, precision, power, with a nervous system that's timed right. I get to use those skills in a safe and controlled environment. I mean, you know, you've played it.
It is amazing. It really is.
Highly addictive.
So it's we were going to be launching at Danny Arnold Sports Classics earlier in the year, but that all got kind of closed down. But yeah, definitely. So Roy, I'm going to challenge you to a game of Thunderball when we come to the States.
Me too.
Okay. I love it.
Yeah, it's going to be heaps of fun. We'll set one up over there for you. And Art's even said on here as well, so many products are shipped direct from China. That's all right. So many products are shipped direct from China with little or no quality control assessments, especially muscle building supplements. Good to see Inner Origin creating a safe movement. Good to see, yeah, good to see. And it is also God. I think God has just been behind all of this, but also we have a signature range protein powder coming out as well, which Sally-Ann can chat about a little bit later, and just kind of go over some of the products. So if you want to know more about that, it's going to kind of, Roy and I started off with the signature range, and Roy's a vanilla fan, I'm a chocolate fan, so it's all kind of come up a bit beautifully. And that should be ready within probably 1 to 2 weeks before his fight goes live. So, you know, it's going to be super exciting. Inside, well, Sally-Ann, do you want to just share quickly what's in that protein powder? Because we sat down and nutted out like what's going to be the best inside that formula to help people about bringing out that athlete in everybody.
It's a vegan protein. I mean, we spoke about that many times as well, didn't we, Sharon? And Roy, and I know Sharon said, listen, you know, that's where the movement's at, you know, in terms of where she felt that was sort of old technology, so to speak, or where science was at in that delivery term. And we really felt a movement of people moving towards more vegan proteins, you know, pea, rice, and, you know, hemp sort of proteins. But there's some incredible ingredients in there that are for performance related. You know, they've got clinical trials around what they've done for athletes in increasing performance and recovery. And so it really is I guess a protein that has been developed for everyone, but inspired people who are looking for, you know, that extra energy output, because that's what athletes are always looking for. So you don't have to be a champion to know that this protein is going to be really great for you, but also giving amazing nutrition to the body.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're excited to be releasing that very, very soon.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, thank you so much, Sally-Ann. So Roy, come back. Tell us, Mike Tyson. Now, he's known to, like, he's bit someone's ear off. How crazy are you, man? So
He made a bit. I think his body probably was starving for protein, so he bit the ear.
Well, you just need to take one of those shakes in when you go in there. Go throw that at him first.
Listen here, please.
So tell me what happens. What's going to happen? You know, we've had people say, well, is it just an exhibition bout? You know, and really what can two blokes in their 50s really do? I've even read some things which, you know, it really boggles me. When I spoke before about, you know, we don't even give credit to kids to let kids come up with who they want to be. You know, it's the same people in this mentality of you get to a certain age and you're old. You know, I've read some crazy comments about, you know, these guys getting in the ring, they're just going to cause harm to their bodies. They're probably going to do damage to their families, lots and lots of crazy stuff because they got no idea. But let me ask you, if he goes if he goes in the ring and goes to chew on a part of your body, what's going to happen?
I'm going to chew back on a part of his body and it's going to be his ear.
2 times his once.
Yeah, fantastic. Also, and so tell me, people say it's going to be an exhibition bout. What have you got to say about that?
First of all, when you ever seen Mike Tyson have an exhibition? One exhibition I did see him have, he knocked the guy down in the first round. If you knock me down in the first round, then you got to go down yourself or it's going to be something wrong with me. I'm going to be trying to knock you down for the rest of the night. So if he knocked the guy down in the first round of an exhibition, what does it tell you? How does he feel about exhibitions? He don't care about them. He don't care about them. So you don't go in the ring as me, the smaller man, with exhibition on my mind? No, because when I get there, it's too late to change it. This dude probably 230. I'm probably 205 max. You think I'm going to go in there and prepare for an exhibition against Mike Tyson, one of the most craziest creatures we've ever seen, a guy who we know that is bipolar. He's nice today, he's a killer tomorrow. He tells you that in his own videos. He got a left shoulder and a right shoulder, and they take turns thinking for him. So you think I'm going to go in there and think it's going to be exhibition? No, that's Mike Tyson. An exhibition punch can do more damage than most people's normal punch can do you. So you think I'm going to go in there and take it like it's an exhibition? I'd be a fool. I'd be the biggest fool in the history of sports to go in the ring with Mike Tyson, letting people tell me, oh, yeah, it's just an exhibition. Oh, okay, so you're going to play just bite him with a pit bull, huh? See how that bite works out for you.
Exactly what it's like.
And you've got a nickname. You've got a number of nicknames. We've heard Pride of Pensacola. You've got another. You're a demigod. You're like 8th dimensional. You're now 9th dimensional. But you've got a nickname, Captain Hook. Now, I will let you know. Roy sends me some videos of him training, and about a week ago, he sent me some videos of him doing pad work, and I'm watching this guy hold the pads, and he actually, after one of his most incredible punches that looked like it was no effort at all, the guy couldn't even put his hand back up. He was I don't know whether he took his shoulder out or what you did. He come back, but and last night you sent me another one yesterday. So we're on different time zones. So it was my last night, probably your morning. But just the speed, the power, and the precision in your punches was unbelievable. I wouldn't even know you were 51, going by what you're creating your body to do.
Yeah, exactly. And with the people that tell you what you can and can't do, if they knew so much, they would have told me back in 1969 or 1970, a year after I was born, that, hey, you're going to be a great agitator. You should follow Muhammad Ali. You should start boxing. You're going to be a world champion one day, and you might become one of the best people that will fight. But did anybody ever tell me that? No. Why? Because they had no clue. So what makes them become so smart today? How do I listen to them today when they couldn't tell me that when it was time, when I didn't know no better? If they could have told me then maybe I listened to them today. But when I didn't know better, they couldn't tell me what to do. So why would I listen to them now when I know better?
Yeah, touche.
I love it. And Captain Hook, like most of us may already know what this is, but tell me, Captain Hook, where did that come from?
I'm the best hooker in the game. I got the best left hook anybody. The best left hook anybody has ever seen. And I'll put that on record. I'll go back up the tapes, watch it over and over again, and you won't find nobody. I hit Jeff Lacey with 13 hooks at one time. You won't find that in nobody's fight film footage nowhere. 13.
And that's amazing, mate. The stuff that you've done is just hands alone. And the most dangerous of the heavyweights have come from the lighter weights, because as they say, when you can be as fast as a middleweight and hit as hard as a heavyweight, you know what I mean, like that, and you're the master of that. The way you move, you're totally spontaneous and unpredictable. There is no one set pattern for you. You can look at a fighter and you can predict what they're going to do. They've got patterns, but you just don't have them. You can change. You can knock out from any angle, any punch. You can have your hand here, 1 foot away from their head, and then all of a sudden the kinetic power that you create from the ground of your fist is like a heavyweight's knockout punch. You go bam and knock someone out. It's just, and so that must be really exciting for you, but also for Mike. Like, he's really not skipped it here. He's picked the worst possible person to do an exhibition bout with, because you are unpredictable. You are so powerful. Like, he's mastered the art. He's mastered the art of someone trying to get away from a big puncher. But he has picked the person that can do exactly the same. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just, I'm just like blown away. I'm so excited to see this. I'm so excited. I'm like, I'm lost for words here, trying to put words together talking to you, but I'm just going to say, this is just so unbelievable, and it's so good. And realistically, if you're fit enough and wise enough and smart enough to do this at your age, you know, it's like, you guys have got doctors' checks and all that. That's a great thing. How can people take that away from us? You know what I mean? And from yourselves, you know what I mean? Like, that's God's gift. When you can do this at the age you are with the intelligence you've got, man, how good, how exciting.
Not only that, look how much it has wrecked the internet. The information about us fighting has spread over the world.
Yeah. Like
COVID-19. You understand me? Everybody knows about Roy Jones and Mike Tyson. That's crazy. So if so many people are talking about it, interested in seeing it, then why would you not do it? Like, give the fans what they want. Yeah. You'd be stupid not to when you can. Now, we couldn't. Or if one of us was already off in our head, or, I mean, we both probably started a lot off in our head, so that's nothing new. But if we couldn't talk, or we couldn't really operate or walk right, then I could stand that. I would say these guys are already ruined. Don't let them get in the ring and fight no more. They don't need it. It's not necessary. It could cause further damage to them. Yeah. But we not. We fine. We look better than some of the guys fighting now. So why not?
Yep. 100%.
Absolutely. So powerful, so powerful. And so also, Roy, like, anybody that's listening to this call that is, you know, thinking about stepping in the ring or preparing for a fight right now, what's one of the greatest things you could tell them to focus on?
Focus on God first, because what God got for you, nobody can take away from you. God obviously had this for me, so nobody can take it away from me. Because look, it came anyway when I wasn't even expecting it. You understand me? So what God has for you, let no man take it away from you. Always prepare. God helps those who helps themselves. If I wouldn't help myself and staying prepared, then I'd be out of luck right now. Because God brought me a beautiful blessing along, but I couldn't have said yes had I not been taking care of myself. So you must take care of yourself first. You never know what God has in store for you. And God loves us all. God wants the best for us all. If you got faith and believe that, then you stay right and stay ready, because you never know where your blessing might come from, but it's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've also got a question in here around, before I do the question, we've got Art has said, remember Art Serrano's out-of-body experience in 92. Incredible. Yeah. Going to be a good showdown. Yes. You might have to tell us about that. What was the out-of-body experience?
He almost had a seizure after I hit him. But I never meant to cause him that kind of problem or that kind of harm. It's just that I had 2 jam fingers on my left hand, 2 jam fingers on my right hand. Put the gloves on my hand and tied them up. Both my hands immediately started throbbing. So I told my friend, I said, listen, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to set up. I'm going to hit him with a jab, a pause, and an overhand right as hard as I can. I don't knock him out. I got to stop because my hands hurt. I can't go 8 rounds like this tonight. I definitely can't go 10. I did just that and hit him so hard that when he fell, his eyes rolled back in the back of his head, and his head looked like he had a seizure. I was afraid, but I knew it was either him or me, and it ain't going to be me, so it had to be him.
Yeah, wow, that's, whew. This has been full of so much just incredible goodness, and I want to really thank everyone for asking questions. We did have a question. I have a question. Can this product help people and boxers lose weight?
100%.
Absolutely. And I want to share that. I'll always say again and again and again, detox your body. And I'm happy to, whoever's invited you on, whoever's asked that question, please go back and ask them. We have 3 incredible products on the platform, and I will always say, especially if you're over 35, be on Intramedica and go on all of them. And if you've got a lot of weight to lose, it's a lot of inflammation in your body that we've got to heal and got to get rid of, right? I'm not saying that we're going to heal everything. Let me just rephrase that. We want to reduce your inflammation. We want to do that in the most natural and cleanest way possible. So reach out to the person that invited you here. I would highly recommend, Sally, and you can let us know the Intramedica, but it wouldn't just be once. You would be taking it for, depending on how much weight you want to donate back to the universe. You would want to go on at least a double cycle and then take a break and then go again. Yeah, so I don't like saying lose weight, because subconsciously when we lose something, we want to find it. You lose $100, you lose $1,000, you want to find it. You want to lose weight, next thing you know, you're bigger than what you were before you started. So I always say donate it back to someone else. There's lots of hungry people out there. Anyway, so yeah, I definitely go back to whoever's invited you here. Absolutely. And then we've also got an incredible fast. We've got an incredible product and also a fast. That, Roy, what did you lose when you did the fast?
I'm pretty sure, I think I lost 6.1 pounds when I did the fast. I think it's 3-day fast. It was perfect problems. And I think I lost right about 6 pounds, no problems.
Yeah, awesome. And remember, so I just want you to know, the fast isn't just going without food. The fast is actually a drink that you'll take that will give you the full amino acid profile that your body needs and the nutrients that your body needs to keep being able to function. So you're not kind of going hungry. Does it taste great? I'm not going to say it tastes fantastic, but the journey I went on, I actually kind of won that. And I'll say I won it probably because I had more weight to donate back than more of it. I actually lost an even 8 pounds, which was amazing. So if you're in Australia, you know, when we talk about kilos and stuff before, Ian said he had to lose 15 kilos, 2.2 pound to a kilo. So it was over 30 pounds that he had to lose in, I think it was 10 days. So yeah, I lost 4 kilos clean. And I was like, yeah, I beat Roy. I did feel really proud about that. But I can tell you my rump was probably a lot bigger than yours at the same time too, Roy. So is anybody else? We've got time for like maybe one more question. Have you got a question you want to hit Roy with?
Me? No, I think we covered it all. But I will say on what you're talking about before, and you know this, Roy, too, success starts where everyone else stops. You know, whether it be in training, whether it be all that sort of stuff, you know what I mean? Success starts where everyone else stops. And what I mean by that too, with the nutritional food and all that sort of stuff, when you're eating this, when you're taking this sort of healthy approach in your detox, it's so easy to break through those fitness walls. So for the fighters wanting to lose weight and get healthy and stuff, and not only, because when you normally hit that wall and you get acidic, you know, you want to be alkaline, you want to be charged. By taking good nutrition, taking good foods, when you hit those normal walls, it's so much easier to push through them. And that's where the success starts. When everyone else stops punching, when everyone else slows down, you want to speed up, you want to power up, you want to get more concentrated. And good nutrition helps you with your mind, your body, your physical output. So yeah, that's probably mine. But I haven't got questions because I had questions, but you answered them all. You know what I mean? Like seriously, like I have more. I'm going to stay in touch. We're going to be friends and stuff like
absolutely.
that.
All right.
I will say this.
I appreciate.
We're challenging you to Thunderball. All right. We're challenging you to Thunderball. I can't wait to. I will not challenge you to a fight. I'll be honest. I'm a world champion in my own domain, but you're in a league of your own. I won't do the same thing.
Thank you, brother.
But I will challenge you to Thunderball. Fight skills. Yeah. Thanks,
Thank you.
Thanks for an amazing morning, everyone. That was incredible.
Yeah, I'm so grateful. So Roy and Ian, so much love for both of you for just the stance you've taken on your world journey in this dimension, this time, this moment. We do have some more questions, so I will ask them. I can probably fit in 1 or 2 more questions. I feel just blessed. I feel blessed that, you know, when we go into a space where we create greatness, that we all be able to recognize each other and support each other, and it's just powerful. You know, I'll also, for those that want to come in and check out the I Am Wild for Life group, which is just really bringing you back to being wild for life. We're so busy being human doings, we're forgetting what it's like to be a human being and being present in a moment. You know, we're talking about mental health and everything. Not only is it your gut, but your mind's either running that way too fast, or it's way back here for way too long. So it's about being able to give you strategies as well and how to shift that, as well as taking care of your nutrition and everything.
You're going to win, Roy.
You are?
You're going to win, Roy.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Art is saying, what does Roy Jones Jr. do to unwind? I hope it's bass fishing.
Yeah, I go fishing. I went fishing today, caught some mingo snapper, caught a blue runner, a couple other fish. I come home, cook them. I enjoy fishing. That's my unwind right now. I'll go out in my chicken yard and play with my chickens for a little while. That also unwinds me. So those are my two best things to do to unwind.
Amazing.
So you've just shared about your chickens. Leave us with this story. And I really want to acknowledge also Judy and Mel had also been guessing in the game earlier on, but I didn't see it was on the Q&A group and not in the other chat box that we had as well. So thank you so much, ladies, for jumping in there and doing that. So Roy, chickens, you just said you go out in the yard to play with your chickens. Like, you know, we did a call a couple of weeks ago and it's gone kind of crazy on YouTube and with Peter Maniatis down in Melbourne, a promoter down in Melbourne. And you even spoke about chickens there. And I love when you kind of say something that I kind of grab it and want to know more. So why do you go and play with your chickens? What is it about chickens?
For me, growing up, I used to watch the chickens because my father had game chickens. And they always developed a pecking order. And the pecking order means they develop a boss, an underboss, and a boss under him, and a boss under him. Well, how they develop the pecking order is by fighting it out. And so I would watch them because I wanted to know what made the boss the boss. Because one day in boxing, I want to be the boss. So I started studying to see what made one chicken the boss over all the rest of the chickens. How did he carry himself? What was his mannerisms? What did he do different than the other chickens? What made him stand out? And how he kept everybody in check by letting them know when they see him. When they walked close to where he was, you knew he was the boss. And that's partly how I learned to rule as a champion, but never to get too big-headed because God made me. God created me. He created me to be what I am. And what I am is a boss of the boxing ring. And I had to carry myself the way that boss used to carry himself. You had to have pride, dignity, respect, and faith in God. If you had those things, then you were a true champion. You were the king of the pecking order. And that's what I became. And I will always keep my chickens in my yard because I was watching them because they were very detrimental to who I became in the boxing ring. Okay, what people say, how people talk about it, how people talk about how crazy the sport was. The sport is outlawed. I understand all that. But you still can own the chickens. You can raise them. You can watch them. And I learned a lot of things from those chickens. One of the most detrimental fights I had was when I beat the man at the time who was James Tony, who was 44-0 in round 3. And Ian will know what I'm talking about here. In round 3, I got to a point to where I did pretty much all I could do, but I hadn't took dominance of the fight yet. And James hadn't did much, but he hadn't secured dominance of the fight yet either. So I had to have something to get me over that threshold or I would have lost the fight. And I started thinking, I said, what would a chicken do right now? I thought about my chicken movie, and he copied it. I said, oh, I got it. Did it again. He tried to copy again, and bang, turned the whole fight around. And Roy goes on, a star was born right there at that point. A new person, a new era in boxing, Roy Jones Jr. And that all came from the chickens in that backyard.
Wow.
See, God helps those, help themselves. Have to understand God has blessings in everything. You just have to pay attention to it and see it.
So, and I want to finish off with this because you just hear what Roy was sharing about how he would go and he would learn the mannerisms, like the pecking order. How do they get to the pecking order? What do they do? Like we go into this space when you want to be the best of the best and you find something that's going to take you to the next level, right? Now, I was in the gym last week and taking classes, right, boxing classes, and there's a couple of young guys that are in there that want to fight. And one of them said to me, standing there in his bag, the bell's gone, everyone else is punching. I haven't told him what to do in probably 2 rounds. I left him with a combination and just, I was going and helping somebody else. And then I looked at him and I said, what's up? He goes, well, I already done that for the last 2 rounds. I need something new. And I just thought, he wants to be a fighter, right? He wants to be a champion of the world. And I just said to him, I stopped the whole class and I just said, everyone thinks they need to learn something new. Everyone always thinks they need to learn the next trick, the next best thing, the next, what's this knockout punch? Have you got any idea how many times I've thrown a jab at a bag and nothing else? I just pretended I didn't have a right arm and I was fighting with one arm. Like, how did I get my jab to be so strong and so forceful? It wasn't because I could just punch hard, right? You go on to this learning mission of what happens when you sit down and drop your body weight. And when you look at Captain Hook, and you look at Roy fight, his body weight is always down low, and there's no coincidence. There's no, oh my gosh, that was a lucky punch. No, he's so connected to the earth, to the ground, to the power that's coming from the ground through his feet. God's coming from the top, power's coming from the bottom, and he uses his hips and he does a twist and the arm goes, and my goodness. And I hear that and I think so many people in this world right now that want to be the best at something need to go back to the basics. To be the best, it's not about the next best shiny thing that's going to get you there. It's about stick to the basics and do the mind work, because the mind work is what's going to take you to the next level, 100%. Oh my gosh, I am so blessed. Roy, I love you. I love your chickens. I haven't met your chickens, but I love your chickens. Sally, thank you so much, buddy.
Have a great night, Roy. Thanks so much.
Thanks everyone for joining us.
Thank you. Bye.
Let's go. Let's go.
Bye-bye.